All right, so this is why we're at that breaking point, and possibly already broken out. It's just that we have to be a little more patient. But this is showing this giant trend line all the way back, right? All the way back to 2021, the high of 2021 in November. But not only do we break out of that trend line, which is very positive, but we're also holding at that 2019 support. Interesting. So there's a couple of things we're looking at. Number one is we've been holding at that support since 2019, right? That is good. But also what's really good, and something that I've shown you guys before too, so if you zoom out like this, right, it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin has not been able to break out of that line, that trend line, that giant trend line from 69,000 down, just a little stint over here above. And here you could see clearly could not break out. Here cannot break out. Here cannot break out. Here cannot break out. But because we've been going sideways, we actually did break out of it. And if we continue, even if we go flat and continue forward, that shows Bitcoin has broken out of this giant trend line that we've been straddling under. And that is absolutely fantastic. So this breaking point, I would argue we're already there. Okay? So this is obviously very, very good to break out of a 11-month or 12-month, basically a year worth of downs. And we're finally past it. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. I got something to show you guys. First of all, we know that Bitcoin volatility has dropped to below NASDAQ and S&P for the first time since 2018. Why is that happening? Well, it's quite simple, because all the people with weak hands have left. They already left. Retail investors that came in, that didn't quite understand what Bitcoin is all about, chasing a quick buck, well, they left. Okay? Who's left in the market holding the bag? Well, it's Bitcoin holders. Over 75% of all Bitcoin right now is held by Bitcoin holders, long-term holders, and people that simply believe. Doesn't matter about price action. Doesn't matter that we're down from 69,000. They truly believe what Bitcoin's all about. And because of scarcity factor and decentralization, and because of all the problems we're having with fiat and banks around the world, more and more people understand and want to hodl, right? This is the reason why Bitcoin volatility is so low and why Bitcoin is so stagnant, despite U.S. markets sometimes having big rallies or big dumps, and it still just holds, right? Right around 19,000, 20,000. We have been here for so long, but I think this is the breaking point for Bitcoin, and we're ready at that point. Here's why. Oh, before I get into it, it's 8:30. It's always positive when the market bell. It's always positive when the market bell works. So market bell has just rung, the best bell in the industry, if I do say so myself. But in addition, of course, if you don't believe that, you're like, well, it could be a coincidence. Well, just take a look at this. Just zoom out. Zoom out a little bit. Okay? When in doubt, zoom out. I coined that phrase, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. I did not coin that phrase, but I use it often. When in doubt, zoom out. We have bad periods. We have periods where Bitcoin goes down vastly. But all those people that left, the retail investors coming in chasing quick buck, after they left, they missed out on the tremendous upsides that has pursued afterwards. You don't want to be one of those guys. And also, from a monthly perspective, if you look at below the MACD for monthly, it's starting to break upwards too. Again, that's usually when you don't want to leave the market. That's usually when you want to get in the market. And you could also consider that as a breaking point or a breakout point. And we have just passed it. We have one more month to go, or one more week to go, I should say, before end of month. One more week to go before end of month. Then we'll have a closing, and we're going to start November, which, November has been very, very, very positive for many, many, many years. So we're about to enter November as well. And of course, here's something else in case you didn't believe that as well. Weekly moving average, the 200 weekly moving average has been a very, very strong support for Bitcoin. And every time Bitcoin falls below, you have two types of people will say this. You have one type that will say, well, Bitcoin's dead and it's about to drop to zero. Guys like Peter Schiff. And then you have guys that are smarter than the first type and they buy. And the second type has been winning. And you can see every time Bitcoin falls below 200 weekly moving average, had you bought it those times, you've gained quite tremendously afterwards. And guess where we are right now? Same point. Same point. All good things, guys. All good things. Now, that's Bitcoin. And if you zoom in a little bit, we're actually having a little movement, so that's good. But what about today? Okay, what's helping Bitcoin? Well, I did notice the DXY has dropped significantly out of the blue for some reason. It was back above 112 yesterday. I think it was back the day before it was like 113, but you could see just this huge drop off. I know this week we have a lot of economic data and we also have a lot of earnings. So these two events will be kind of shaping how the market will be this week and possibly forward. So as for some of the earnings, UPS reported. UPS said their outlook is still okay. Isn't that bad? They beated estimates for revenue, but no, they beat estimates for profit, but came under on revenue. So they beat the bottom line, but missed the top line. But overall, they still think 2022 is looking good for them. So that's pretty positive. You know, same thing with General Motors, GM. This is a big surprise. They also beat bottom line. They beat earning profits, but came below on revenue, right? And GM is rallying because of it. Quite honestly, I don't know how they pushed out so many cars. They said their Q3 deliveries went up by like 24%. So supply chain must be improving at this point, or everyone's buying Corvettes because that's like the only good car from GM. No, I'm just kidding. They make good trucks too. But what's surprising is, you know, the same type of earnings happened with Tesla, and Tesla tanked afterwards. Tesla also beat bottom line, but missed top line, and then people destroyed the stock. So seems kind of off, right? But anyways, it's not just these companies. Alphabet, which is AKA Google, and Microsoft are both going to be reporting tonight after the bell. Big, whatever they say will be big guidance, basically, for tech companies going forward. Even though they're not exactly Apple or Amazon or Facebook, right? But these two giants will really determine how others perceive these industries. For example, Google, which also controls YouTube, ad revenue. Is ad revenue going to go up or down, right? Microsoft, of course, for tech industry and cloud industry. So these will actually basically forecast Amazon's AWS and also Facebook. So absolutely two huge reportings. I think they're going to do fine. I don't think that they're hurt much. Tech just really isn't hurt much. So we will see. There's those two. What else is going on today? Well, UK has a new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. He met with King Charles, and now he's officially the new Prime Minister. And he has giant shoes to fill. Shoes that have been abandoned many times over the last few years. So I don't know what he's going to do, what his new policy is, how he's going to affect things. He's a young guy. People have said that he's pro-crypto, at least CBDCs, not sure about pro-Bitcoin. But, you know, with a younger mindset, maybe he's more willing to consider going more blockchain and decentralization and more crypto for many aspects. I don't know. And maybe he's going to change things around. Again, too early to tell. But one thing that I took out of this article that I didn't know about him before is he is filthy rich. He is extremely filthy rich. And that's because he married a daughter of the person who started the IT company Infosys. So him and his wife has a combined net worth of $824 million. I don't know why you want to become prime minister if you're worth $824 million. I just don't get it. You don't need it. You're young, good looking, go do whatever you want. You don't have to take this job, man. But he did. He did. So we'll see what he does. All right. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Near Protocol. We know the collapse of UST has shocked the crypto market. And Near Protocol also has algorithmic stablecoin USN. And I was covering at the time, it did lose its peg to the dollar for short periods of time. And they have decided to just exit because they don't want to go through the same situation as UST. So I actually think this is smart because I question some of these other stable coins that were, trying to peg against the dollar using some kind of algorithm, and UST obviously proved that it could collapse upon itself really quickly. So they're go try to get rid of it. I don't know how easy it will be, but seeing how USN is not nearly as big as UST, they probably have enough to exit completely. So there's probably going to be some redemption period or something like that. That'll be coming soon. All right. And then as for the U.S. market today, looking like it wants to turn green, possibly because DXY is going down and possibly because of this. Home prices cooled at record pace in August. So this is down 15.6% in versus the previous month. So could be, again, all these softening news, all this economic news that shows that the economy is softening, okay, is actually good. Because with softening markets, people are not so rich anymore to keep buying. Demand is going down. Prices should be coming down. And overall, this makes Jerome Powell really happy that he doesn't have to keep raising rates, right? So maybe he's going to come in a little dovish